Hey there, my name is Marley and welcome to my booktube channel. Today I thought it would be fun to do a little tag video. It's been a while since I've done a tag other than the mid-year freak out tag. So I decided to do the unpopular opinions tag. It's always kind of fun to hear people's unpopular or like negative opinions. So yeah, here's the unpopular book opinion tag, and this was created by the book Archer. So props to her. I'll link her channel below. So the first question in this tag is, what is a popular book or series that you did not like? So a pretty popular book that I didn't like was the Bromance Book Club, which actually is also a series. I really was excited to get to this one because I thought the concept just sounded so great, and I actually read it for my book club because I thought it would be a good pick for a book club because it's about a book club. And unfortunately, I was disappointed by it, and so were my friends as well. If you don't know the plot of this one, it's that there's this book club that men kind of created, hence the Bromance Book Club, and the goal is to kind of help each other with their different respective love interests, like their wives and girlfriends. And the way they kind of all help each other is by reading romance books and learning from the romance books like how to deal with their significant others and with these romantic challenges. And kind of, at least in the first one, the guy was trying to win back his wife, who I think was trying to leave him or something. So it's a fun concept, but it just did not deliver. One of the issues was a bit of a personal issue that I have where I don't like reading from male perspectives in romances, but I also just think that it could have been done better, it could have been more funny, and I just did not care to continue the series. But I know a lot of people like this one. Another romance that was pretty popular last year and I decided to give a shot was Love Light Farms. This is also actually a companion series that I did not continue after reading the first book. It was probably one of my least favorite books that I read last year. It's pitched as a friends to lovers fake dating story, and there's also like a competition, a social media competition to have the best farm or something like that. Can't totally remember now, but it just did not deliver on any of those plot points. The lady who's coming to like judge the farm for the competition doesn't come till way later in the book, so that like competition kind of aspect wasn't even there for most of it. The friendship to lover fake dating thing, it was just like they immediately were together. I didn't really feel like it was fake dating. It just seemed like they were immediately together, amongst a number of other reasons I didn't like it. But yeah, those are two pretty popular romance books I just could not get on board for. Next question, a popular book or series that everyone seems to hate but you love. This was slightly harder to come up with, but I did think of a couple. So first we have these two releases by Riley Sager. Overall, Riley Sager's a pretty loved thriller author, but these two books of his, Survive the Night and House Across the Lake, a lot of people really were disappointed and some people even hated them. And I still really loved them. I believe I gave this one 4 stars and this one 5 stars. I just have a really good time with his books, so I still highly recommend them and don't totally understand why people were so disappointed in these ones. Another series I noticed people had more negative feelings towards than I did was the Inheritance Game series. So a lot of people really did like the first book in the series, and then they didn't like the second and third. This is a YA thriller mystery series, by the way, but I still really enjoyed the rest of the series. This is one I can understand people's criticisms though, but personally it just really worked for me. I really liked the fast-pacedness of it. I liked the love triangle, the romance, interpersonal dramas that were going on. I always just had a fun time with the mysteries and the riddles and puzzles and stuff. So again, I still recommend this. Question 3, a love triangle where the main character ended up with a person you did not want them to. And this prompts us to warn people for spoilers, but I think these are kind of like old ones that if you haven't read these books yet, you probably won't. So this is actually a trend for me during that time in specifically young adult fantasy where there were so many love triangles after Twilight. I found I always was rooting for the wrong person in the love triangle, and that did all start with Twilight. I was very much Team Jacob, mostly when it comes to the movies. I think when it came to the books, I didn't mind Edward as much, but at least for like the movies and the whole thing with like Taylor Lautner and Robert Pattinson, like I was very much Team Jacob. So that kind of started the trend right there. But just to name a few other ones, we have the Wicked Lovely series. This is the third one in the series. I just don't own the first one, but this was a fairy fantasy series, and the love triangle is with this main girl who has the power to see fairies, and then the two guys are a fairy prince or fairy king, and then like her human boyfriend. And I just really shipped her with Keenan, the fairy king of the summer court. I thought they were so cute, but spoiler, she does end up with her human boyfriend. It was like I had a sixth sense where I could just tell who the underdog in the love triangle was, and I would root for them. Same thing with the Wings series by April Lynn Pike. Not sure if you guys read this. It's another fairy series. The love triangle was with the main girl and then a fairy guy and her human boyfriend. But I felt the opposite way. I rooted for her to be with the human boyfriend, but she ended up with the fairy guy, which is typically how things go. That was definitely a trend where it would be a love triangle with like the supernatural guy and then the human guy. And normally, as you can imagine, the human guy would not get the girl. So yeah, I shipped the wrong thing here. And then there also is the series Vampire Academy, which is a little more popular, but I shipped Rose with Adrian instead of Dimitri, who was like the main guy. Yeah, it was pretty much just every love triangle during that time. I shipped the wrong guy. Next question, a popular genre that you do not reach for. I actually talked about this in a previous video before when I did the anti-TBR tag. It had some similar questions, and I recently watched that before filming this, and I saw I pretty much have the exact same answer. The genres I'm not really reaching for continues to be sci-fi. I've read a couple YA sci-fi since then, but I really am still not being drawn to those kind of adult, denser sci-fi books. I also don't really reach for horror books that often. I've read a few here or there. I know I did that horror reading vlog last October for Halloween, but I actually consume a lot of content, like booktube content, where they talk about horror books, but I never really feel that drawn to pick them up. I tend to just go for more of the thriller ones. And then also historical fiction. I still am never really drawn to those. Historical romance or historical, just general fiction. Don't really pick up any of that. Too boring, I think, other than Taylor Jenkins Reid. Next question is a popular or beloved character that you do not like. And I honestly really struggled with this question. I hate to like not answer a question. So I did think of something, but I couldn't really think of like a specific character that's loved that I hate, other than maybe bringing back to Twilight again. Back in the day, I went through a like hatred of Edward phase. But the other person I came up with is Dumbledore from Harry Potter, but this is a little bit also skewed by my opinion of the movies. I've only read the first 2 books in the Harry Potter series. I feel like most people love Dumbledore that grew up with Harry Potter and feel nostalgic about it, but I just feel like he knew more than he let on throughout the books and just kind of let Harry get into so many dangerous situations and like could have helped more than he did. And so, I don't know, I kind of like resent him. I feel like he shouldn't be hyped up as much as he is. Number 6, a popular author that you just cannot seem to get into. This was someone I mentioned in my anti-TBR tag, so I don't want to be too repetitive, but Stephen King. I read one of his books. I've heard a lot about so many of his other books. Don't really feel like getting into him. Another author is Olivia Dade. She's pretty popular for her Spoiler Alert series, but I read that complete series and just did not enjoy my time overall. The second book in that series wasn't bad. I did find enjoyment from that one, but just overall, I don't think I will be continuing with her. I could not really get into her books. Next question, a popular book trope that you are tired of seeing. I did kind of struggle this one too. I feel like this tag is a bit weird for me because I'm not that critical of a reader, so I don't have too many like negative opinions, but some examples that this list is like The Lost Princess, Corrupt Lover, Love Triangles, etc. Something that a trope that I don't like, I don't necessarily think it's overdone, but something I don't like is the fated mates, which I don't really see other than Sarah J. Maas. And so when I read Sarah J. Maas books, I am tired of it. It's been in multiple series of hers, I think all of them. I DNF'd Crescent City, so I don't know if it's in that one, but I just don't like Fated Mates, and like she keeps doing it every time. And so I'm definitely tired of it, at least from her books. I also want to say podcast. That's not really a trope, but it's like an aspect that people keep using. And at first I was really into it. I thought it was a cool thing to have in your book, but now I'm just feeling like it's getting overused, and a lot of the books don't even really take advantage of it. A lot of the books, it's just kind of thrown in there and it's not even really a main aspect of the plot. It's like they just used it as a buzzword for marketing. So I feel like we're kind of over the whole podcast thing. This is not even a trope, this is like a genre, but I'm kind of like over cozy mysteries. I read like 2 cozy mystery series and I'm kind of over it. I just feel like they're all so similar, and they all probably include a lot of similar tropes that I just think can get old really quick. So no offense if you like cozy mysteries, but I feel like I probably not going to pick any more up other than the Finley Donovan series. Another one I started thinking about was like, am I tired of fake dating? Like, I feel like I've been really enjoying when romance books have fake dating for the most part, but I'm like, is it getting kind of overdone? Like, it's almost every book is like a fake dating scenario, and I feel like sometimes it's just like kind of dumb. Okay, next question. A popular series that you have no interest in reading. This is a question I could have so many options to say. I do feel like over the years, there's certain books and certain series I just know I completely have no interest in, and it's such a relief when I have no interest in a book, because then I don't feel stressed of trying to get to it because I already have such a big TBR. But a lot of them are ones that are on my boyfriend's bookshelf actually. So something like Game of Thrones, The Witcher, Dune, these are really popular books, at least with like a certain demographic, and I have no interest in reading those at all because I love myself. Another one is the Twisted Love series. I've been seeing quite a bit about by Anna Huang. This is one of those ones that I think is more of a book talk series, and I think it's a romance, and I think it might be a darker romance. I'm not even sure, but I have no interest in that one. Outlander is another series that's just like, I'm not even gonna bother. The Dark Olympus series by Kate Roberts. This is a darker romance series about like Greek gods. I know the first one is like a Hades and Persephone retelling. I like Greek retellings. No interest in that because I just think it'll be too dark, too smutty for me. From Blood and Ash, kind of similar. It sounds like there's no plot, just smut, and it's not that very well done, so I have no interest in that one. Wow, I'm just hating so much for this question. And then also, hot take, but cozy fantasies. That's been more of a recent trend. I know this is not a particular series, I'm kind of going off a little bit here, but cozy fantasies have been more of a recent thing that's being talked about, and I just don't really have any interest. Like, there's been a couple popular ones, which now I'm like forgetting the names of them. Ever since people started talking about them, I haven't really wanted to add them to my TBR for whatever reason. The last question is, the saying goes, the book is always better than the movie, but what movie or TV show adaptation do you prefer more than the book? And you know what, there actually are a couple of these, and I think normally it's when it's a TV show adaptation because they are just able to really add to the source material and really flesh it out. So some of the obvious ones are The Vampire Diaries. I read these books like partway through when the show was airing, and the show is just by far way better than the books. Pretty Little Liars, I feel, is another one of these, even though I didn't read the books, but just from the vibes, I feel like the show is probably better. Another one I almost want to say is Heartstopper. I don't know if that's a hot take, but I think I read the Heartstopper graphic novels so quickly because they're so short that they didn't really stick with me as much. And I feel like the show has just been doing such a great job of adapting those books and then adding to them, probably because Alice Oseman, the author, actually writes the show as well. So I don't feel bad saying this. I feel like maybe the show is kind of even better than the books. Those were the ones that I could think of. I think whenever they're done as a TV show, there's just way more of a potential for them to be better. That is going to be the end of this tag. I don't think I'm going to tag anyone today because I feel like tags are kind of out of trend. I don't know if anyone would care to do this, but if you are watching and you're a book creator, then I tag you. All right, let me know your unpopular opinions down below. Do you agree with me? Do you want to fight me on any of these? Let me know. While you're down there, be sure to like and subscribe if you have not already. And just thank you so much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you in my next video very soon. Bye.